For the longest time, I was interested in meditation or mindfulness, at least curious about it. I don't know. I kind of thought it was this hippie guru shit, and so I like things if they have data. And I couldn't find the data. I couldn't find proof of it. Oh yeah, this works. Here's the effects. I couldn't find it, so I was like, okay, why would I do something just to waste my time? Like I'm not gonna do that. This chick, she includes Dr. Amishi Jha. I think I'm totally butchered her name. She's actually studied it. She has a TED Talk where she describes it. It's okay. It describes what it is. She has a longer podcast, but what they found is if people who practice for 12 minutes a day or more, they show substantial increases. Netflix also has a documentary on it, mindfulness, I think, in the Brain Explained section. But it grows certain parts of your brain. I don't know if I think it's the gray matter. Dr. Amishi, they found that people who practice for 12 or more minutes, dude, this whole thing's shaking. 12 or more minutes per day when they're under stress. I guess that was a key point. Like, so when they're in a stressful point in your life, not even in your life, just if you have stress throughout your day and you practice, it's useful. If you're just chilling on a beach, I guess, I don't know, it's not useful. Um, but she doesn't provide any examples. It pisses me off. So I want to provide at least some level of useful, tangible um, practices that you could just implement. So I know the whole point. I'm trying to get this quick and not bullshit. Uh, Dude, our minds are just all over the place. They're easily distracted, and they have to be because evolution wise, if you just get laser focus on something, dude, the tiger is gonna eat you. So our brains, we want to be able to pick things up. All of our senses, our ears, our eyes are. We need to be able to smell. Just all right, I'm focused on this. Boom, I gotta be out because if something's gonna eat me, I gotta be ready. If there's poison in the air, I gotta be ready. So I think that's why it exists. I don't know shit about this. This is just what I learned. And so we need to be ready. So our minds are all over the place. But now we're not really at a. I mean, it's still useful because if a car honks, you want to be able to hear it, right? So we need to be able to be perceptive. But if we're too perceptive and waiting for everything all the time, we're in a constant state of flight or fight. And so we just always just it's like mild panic for constantly, and we're not able to actually focus on the thing we're thinking about because I'm trying to do my homework, I'm trying to type, I'm trying to research, and my brain's thinking about work, it's thinking about the chicken cooking, it's thinking about the person I didn't call, it's thinking about the oil I gotta change, like all this shit, and we can't. It's too much, and our brains focus on these alerts that evolutionarily we need, but because it's so extreme, now we're not able to get deeply focused in whatever we're doing, and we don't need to be on high alert all the time. Sometimes there's a call for deep focus. Let me concentrate. This is intent. I'm coding something. I'm drawing. I'm painting the next Picasso, bro. Like Einstein. Like that dude was deep work constantly. And so okay, so there. That's what it is. And Dr. Amishi, she describes your attention as a flashlight. And so you can focus it, and there's limited lumens. You only have so much attention you can use on a thing. That's why if you're driving and traffic's crazy, you're driving through some sketchy, you got to turn down the music. Music doesn't affect your driving ability, but it takes away from your attention. You only have so much attention. And we can basically train ourselves to have a sharper flashlight. Focus on the things that we're actually caring about in this moment. There's this one quote in the book 4,000 Weeks. They say, it doesn't matter if you go to a 2-star Michelin restaurant and have your cup of noodles if you're thinking about something back home. You're not even enjoying, you're not even processing the noodles that you're eating. So fuck it, like why? Who cares? Who cares that it's too as good as it is if you're not even focused on it? Why are you enjoy? Why you can't enjoy it? All right, so practices. Uh, so they found 12 minutes every day. Uh, 12 people who did it 12 minutes per day is beneficial. All right, what does that actually look like? I've heard it described, and what I've found to be beneficial is okay, you're concentrating your flashlight, it's all over the place. You just need to anchor it to something. It doesn't really matter what it is. You could be anchoring it on the color green. You could be anchoring it on just nothing if you're able. I've tried that, dude. It's hard to think of nothing. Uh, but a very useful one just so happens to be your breath, right? It's constant. It's constant, and it's slightly rhythmic. It slightly moves, so it's easier to stay focused on it. Um, so it's easier to stay focused on it, and that's just what a lot of people have found to be useful. But it's up to you. It doesn't really matter what you focus on. It's just that you are concentrate. You are being deliberate about your flashlight of attention. You are focusing it on something. Inevitably, your brain's gonna get distracted. Like guaranteed, your brain gets distracted. That's the whole point of your brain. Is it keeps generating ideas. It keeps thinking about other things. It keeps connecting neural pathways. Like, our brains are fucking bananas. It's just neurons just exploding all the time. Um, so the whole point is if we're able to concentrate the focus of attention, let me focus it on my breathing. Okay, it starts to wander. All right, refocus. Starts to wander, refocus. And you're not trying to focus per se. The whole point is you're just trying to train your attention so that you are in control of your mind and it's not in control of you. And that's the piece that I love. You're deliberately focusing and saying, hey, I want to focus on this. I'm going to train myself to be able to focus on what I'm actually trying to focus on. And then another piece of that is being able to remove yourself and just observe your thoughts and go. Another way I've heard it described is it's like putting your hand in a cold creek. And stuff comes, it hits it, and then it just floats off. It comes, it hits it, and it just floats away. Like no big deal. You're there, you're observing it. Oh, cool. There's some little fishies. Off. There's some little sticks. Off. And it's not you can't completely empty your brain. That's not possible. You can't just make your brain devoid. Your brain, and honestly, that was a fear I had at the beginning. It's like, dude, am I gonna lose my creativity? Am I gonna not think of cool things? But your brain is hardwired to think of things. It will always be thinking of things. So all you're doing is training your flashlight of attention to be able to focus on what you want it to. And when all this other shit, you just let it go. You grab onto it, you observe it, and then you let it go. And you gently bring it back. Headspace was another app I tried. It worked for a while. I liked it. Another phrase, another way to do it. My therapist friend, she told me, she said this is how she literally went to India to study it. And so I was like, okay, I'm open to it. Tell me. And she told me, you treat your mind like an animal. Like you don't give a fuck about what your mind's. It gets distracted? Fuck that. I'm in control of my mind. Focus on what I want to focus on. Alright, this other stuff comes, let it go. Fuck that. I think about what I think about. It comes, fuck that. I think about what I think about. And at the time, she said 45 minutes a day. I said, not a chance, bro. I do not have that time. She told me 30 minutes minimum. I said, I don't have 30 fucking minutes, dude. Like, I'm trying to build all these things. I'm trying to create these paths. I'm trying to do. There's a lot of stuff as you and I and everybody are trying to get after. We don't have time for 30 minutes. So then she made me a challenge. She said, okay, you can be like everybody else. Oh, I'll get to that when I have time. I'll get to that one. It's like, fuck. So then she got my ego into it. And then she made a challenge. And I like this. It wasn't a hard commit forever. But she said, she told me she didn't think. She said, I bet you can't do it for 30 minutes for 30 days. 30 minutes for 30 days. It's like a month, dude. I could be sleep deprived for a month. That's fine. I'll sleep for 30 minutes less. And after 30 days, you start to like. So that's just the challenge. If you can do it for 30 minutes for 30 days, I would highly recommend. And it sucks, dude. It sucks. The first, it's just so painful. You can get through a couple minutes, and then your brain just is fucking on fire, and you have to just, and then it's on fire, and then it's, dude, it was so difficult. Holy shit, it was painful. It's hard. Like, it's so hard because we're constantly, our brains are distracted, and we're forcing ourselves. We're training ourselves to know, fuck you. I'm gonna focus on what I'm gonna focus on, and it's difficult. It's difficult, and I think at maybe 3 weeks in, it started to get a little bit easier. But by that point, I had to start. I'd figured out how to work it into my day, and I have continued it. Not every day, but I've continued it. And dude, when my brain's just all over the place, scattered, I use this mindfulness, meditate, whatever you want to call it. It kind of pissed me off because people go, oh, mindful. Be mindful of where you think. All right, kick rocks. You don't even like. Who are you? So I'm just sharing what I've learned. Trying to learn from Dr. Amishi, my therapist friend. I'll see if I can get her to make a video. We'll see. And yeah, you're just training your attention. It's like flashlight. It's like a creek, and you're just training yourself to focus on what you actually want to control of. You got to train yourself because if you don't want to, your brain is in control of you, and you are not actually in control. All right, that went way longer than I expected. Hopefully it's useful. I'll attach that chick's podcast somewhere else. It's all right. It is useful. I actually really liked it. It's very good. I wish he included more specific practices. So that's what I tried to do in this video. Hopefully it's useful. Hopefully you enjoy it. Best of luck.